What actually happened back in Season of Dawn? Using a time travel device, we rescued the most legendary Titan in the history of Guardians here on Earth. Lately though, after divergent memories and being compelled, Saint 14 begins to question if he himself is real or just a copy of the original Saint. Today we take a look back in time and explain this perfect paradox and corruption of timelines according to our latest antagonist. Osiris used to be a part of the Vanguard. Long ago, he would leave in search of answers involving the darkness and ultimately the Vex. This led him to Mercury, where he would explore the infinite forest and various timelines. Saint 14 caught wind of this and ventured to Mercury to try and find Osiris, bring him home to the city. What happened instead is he ended up fighting the Vex for a century in the infinite forest. They created a mind capable of draining his light, and he was killed. The Vex seemed to respect him so much though that they built him a grave, and in the Curse of Osiris expansion the Guardian could visit it.
What happened? Vex. Thousands of them. Saint 14's light. It's gone.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Osiris, I'm so sorry.
I think we should leave him here. It looks like the infinite forest laid him to rest. Built him a memorial. Did the Vex learn to respect him? I don't think I ever told you this, but Saint 14 was one of the first Guardians I ever met, even before I found you. I always hoped you'd turn out like him. I wasn't disappointed. You were a good friend, Saint. Goodbye.
From the Sundial web lore from back in the day, we hear this. Sometime after the death of Panoptes' infinite mind and the city's venture into the infinite forest, Osiris stepped back to look upon his work. It towered stories above him. The sundial was complete, a shining beacon in Mercury's sky. He needed only to seal the chronometric core, which lay bare at the center of the spire, and activate the arc conduits that ran for miles under the planet's surface. Sagira circled the superstructure, scanning every inch of it. "I don't know about this," she said. "I have full confidence. It's your design." That work was theoretical. If the Vanguard found out what you did to build it, if this works, the Vanguard will find out either way. Sagira darted down as if to dive bomb her chosen, but stopped just short and met him eye to eyes. "I know you feel guilty, but there's no telling what will happen if you turn this thing on. He's dead because of me. I've made every precaution. I've had my echoes check against trillions of disaster scenarios." He turned back to look at the fluctuating glow of the exposed chronometric core. "Mercury is the only planet that will be affected, because that's where he died." "Where will this stop? Who else will you decide deserves a second chance? You know I can't make another bargain like this one. I just want to make sure you know that." Osiris blinked. She rarely spoke this bluntly and without irony. "Hey, hey, hey!" came a far-off echoing shout. "No, that ain't right." The drifter came into view from behind one of the sundial's auxiliary pylons, pointing a jabbing finger at Osiris's machine. Sagira narrowed her eye at the rogue light-bearer and lowered herself to Osiris's shoulder. "Why is he here?" she asked quietly. "I asked him to consult on the engineering work," Osiris replied, crossing his arms. "You sicko," the other man declared, walking a circle around the warlock, his eyes darting along every surface of the sundial around them. As the drifter rapped his knuckles on the north pylon, he mumbled, "Ghost, do the numbers." An armored ghost with a red eye unfolded out of transmat and began a scan pattern on each sundial spire. Drifter walked to the center spire and put his ear against it. "This core," he said, leaning close. His eyes darted back to Osiris. is whispering. Osiris's expression didn't change. His arms didn't uncross. We'll seal the core away. I understand the ramifications. Good luck keeping that contained. Not something I would bargain with, hotshot. Drifter stood up and beckoned his ghost with 2 fingers. It floated earthward and unleashed a holographic array of statistics along the sundial deck. The red light reflected off Drifter's eye as he drank the numbers in. Your math checks out, he said, finally, as his ghost folded away. It'll work, but will you find him at the exact moment you need? No guarantees. Let me worry about that, Osiris said. Just one more question then. Why all the fuss? I owe him. I owe a lot of people, Warlock. You're opening the gates of hell with a Vex key. When the Traveler brought me back, I had no friends, no family. No one had anything in the Dark Age. But Saint was always there, and I saw him grow from neophyte to demigod. Drifter shrugged. We've all had to flex a little, win a gunfight or two. It's why we're still here. We all gain strength, but some lightbearers never grasp a wider view of the world. They're happy to stick to their ways, languish when they could be so much more. Drifter chuckled and spat, saluting Osiris with a single finger. I get by. Of course you do. I'm like you. Drifter smirked. But Saint faced his fears and failure better than any of us, and never strayed from his path. He should get a chance to walk to the end. He already did, but I'll leave you to your devices, you lunatic. The Drifter turned, hands in his pockets, to leave. If you short-circuit the universe, you're on your own. If I make a mistake here, you might cease to exist, Osiris replied. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. We haven't talked about payment. If you live through this little experiment, you can be sure I'll be back to collect. Go home. There's a guardian you should meet, Osiris said. Yeah, hero, Red War, can't wait. So from that card we see the moment Osiris created the sundial and the reason why, to go back and find Saint 14. Drifter was a part of its creation in some way, he owes him payment in the end. And it seems to imply they might have used some type of Ahamkara magic or the creature itself to power the core. Osiris begins to explore time, dispatching echoes of himself into the corridors to search for Saint. The echoes split into the thousands, some of them even go crazy, but none have success in finding the legendary Titan in the exact moment they need. They do encounter and witness various battles that Saint took part in, but ultimately they failed and their mission was shut down. Back in Curse of Osiris, when the Guardian visited Saint 14's grave, they would find pieces of Saint 14's weapon, the Perfect Paradox. In Season of Dawn, the sundial was back and Osiris had a mission for our Guardian. Maybe we were able to find Saint instead. It turns out to be true. We're able to make contact with Saint in a couple of missions from the past and end up saving him in the end. We go to a moment where Saint was defending a colony of humans on Mercury from the Fallen, and we gift him the Perfect Paradox, built from the parts we received from his grave back in the Curse of Osiris. Here we show Saint that there is a future where all humans are safe under the Traveler. What you're doing here matters.
Topographical scan confirms this is Mercury circa the Dark Age. Incoming signal on an old emergency band. Hold on.
I repeat, this is Saint 14. The Fallen have overrun Zephyr Station. If you can hear this, turn back.
Saint, hold your position. You have an armed Guardian incoming.
Another minute and they would have eaten my ghost. Fallen are monsters.
Some are. Are you fit to fight, Titan?
I was supposed to protect these people. I should be dead.
You're stronger than you think.
Not strong enough. What is this?
The Perfect Paradox. built by my guardian out of spare parts and light and sheer will to aid you.
It's beautiful.
I probably shouldn't be showing you this, but when has that ever stopped us? This is the last safe city of humanity, hundreds of years from now. During the day, there are children laughing in the streets. When night falls, the people sleep in their homes, not against the walls, weapons in hand, like the early days.
Like my people.
These are your people, Saint. They're descendants. If you quit the fight, maybe you'll live forever. Your ghost will protect you no matter what. But this last city might never happen.
Everything I've ever built has died. I've buried most of the people I've met. I can't do this. Not anymore.
We all make our own choices. Good luck, Titan.
After some other missions and destroying the martyr mine that drained Saint's light, he's able to escape the infinite forest and return to us once and for all.
I can feel the light in my bones. Martyr mind! Time to die! It's been a long time, my friends. I've chased your memory for centuries. You should go now. Those who could kill me are dead. You've made sure of that.
And what if the Vex take your light again?
Impossible. It cost them everything to build the martyr mine. When you crushed it, they were doomed.
You want us to leave you? You'll be stuck here for years.
You've both done plenty. Just open the infinite forest gate for me. I'll meet you the long way around, at the entrance. What's a few more years of fighting Vax? They call me the greatest Titan who ever lived. But I would be dead if not for you.
When he does return, we see he has the perfect paradox shotgun that we gave to him. So a pretty cool continuous loop, literally perfect paradox. Guardian visits grave, got weapon parts, built weapon, went back to Mercury in the past, gave it to Saint, and we see him with the weapon once he returns through the portal. Upon Saint's return, he's happy to be back, but also is emotional with how much has changed.
Look at this place. I cannot believe what this city has become. To be home again. To hear of the Red War. And see the scars. So much has changed. I was not here when the city needed me most. But regret does not serve us. We must look to the future. We must find hope again. There is no more time to waste. On my journey here, I wondered how the city could best use me. Now I think I know. Together, we will shine brighter. We will build a beacon to call all who are lost home. You will fight, and I will build. But for now, my skull needs rest.
Let's hope your journey to help Saint doesn't have any unintended consequences for our timeline. Even the Warlock orders don't fully understand the ramifications. The Speaker exiled Osiris for less. But I know you'll stop at nothing to right a wrong. Eris says that Guardians are bound to lives of loss. We don't usually get to see our old friends again after they've passed. So thank you for this.
Currently in episode Echoes, Saint has an encounter with the Conductor, a mysterious Vex-like entity who manipulates his thoughts and actions on Nessus. The Conductor tells Saint he's not the real Saint, the real saint should have stayed dead. The saint we see is a copy, brought through time by Osiris and the Guardian. So at this point in time of making this video, we don't have direct confirmation that the saint we see is the real one or a copy. We have a couple of different options. The Guardian and Osiris reassure Saint that he is real to them and a part of this reality, that he has value and belongs here with us. He himself, though, expresses doubt. He says he feels like a copy of a copy of a copy, that the Conductor claimed that he's just an error, and that the real saint was not meant to live. Osiris intervened and used a time-traveling device, the sundial, to bring him back. But he questions whether it was the original version of himself. Saint also seems to have different memories to that of Osiris. They remember different things, further leading him to believe that he is not the same saint.
But if I am not the real saint, then who am I?
Saint, come in. Where are you?
Just an error, compounding into the future.
The Saint unit cannot hear us. He appears to be engaged with a local signal.
A local signal? This is bringing back bad memories of Lakshmi 2 and the endless night. I pray to the Traveler I'm wrong.
Diverging from the true path, corrupting our timeline.
The Saint unit's transmission is originating from behind that barrier.
Finally, time to reclaim what was lost. Time to return us to our rightful future. Unified in a symphony of consciousness by a benevolent Conductor. No divisions, no imperfections. A new age is coming. I was never meant to be here. This reality belongs to the real saint. The real saint is dead. I am only his imitation.
Saint, can you hear me?
I am not a person. Just a copy of a copy of a copy.
Who's he talking to?
A new golden age is coming. Free from falsities. Like me.
Come on, big guy. Snap out of it. Osiris is waiting.
Osiris. Osiris! I Cora, Guardian.
I've got you, Saint. Don't worry. Thank you, Guardian.
To go a step further, Saint says that if Osiris never used the sundial to try and find him, he may have prevented other events that took place, like Sagira's death. So it is interesting when you think back, was that truly the curse of Osiris, exploring these timelines eventually leading to all of these events?
You're only doing this to hurt yourself, and I will not be a part of it.
Osiris, answer the question. I need to know.
It doesn't matter. Not like this.
It matters to me. Please. How did I first tell you that I loved you?
Saint. You had asked me for something, some tactical report. I gave it to you, and you thanked me, and you said that you loved me. You said it as if you had already said it 1,000 times before. I was not ready to say it in return, but it was not long until I was.
That is not... I do not remember it this way. That is not what happened in my simulation. We were together in the tower, overlooking the city, talking about something small. And I said what I felt in that moment. And my Osiris did not hesitate to say the same.
You love me. It doesn't matter how it or where that began, not in such fine detail. Saint!
Guardian, since you found me, I have only doubted who I was once. When Mithrax recounted how his people, their children, feared me, it shook me. Osiris says that I am Saint 14. My hands raised the wall. I walked with the Pilgrim Guard. How can I be a shadow of the saint who truly walked the city when I remember the smells of the streets and the faces that smile? I met you on Mercury as I speak to you now. We fought together. I shattered the Vags for centuries, but I lived where ye died. Because we showed the Vags that our fate could not be calculated. Even in simulation, we surprised them, you and I. That is true. The Conductor claims I am a man out of time, an approximation of reality. Was I not this already? Hard metal and brittle memory, spark and code 14 times over. Only my heart carried through. I know what it means to find myself again. But the Conductor claims had Osiris not created the sundial, had I remained forgotten, Sagira would live still. How could these things be connected? If it is true, I will not take my love from him as well, for it is strong, and he will need it. You would not be afraid. You would know what to do. I am still trying, but I will find myself again.
There's something I should discuss with you. Something I'm reluctant to suggest to Saint and Osiris. I think you'll see why. Failsafe believes she could open a portal straight to the Conductor. She says she could extrapolate the coordinates by combining the new Vex data you've been collecting with her years of observations of the Nessus Vex. But she would need to compare it against control data gathered from Vex isolated from the Nessus network. She'd need an enormous amount of data, centuries of it, captured with perfect clarity and preserved by the Vex themselves. Our options are limited and dangerous. There is only one accessible database with that kind of fidelity. The mind of Saint 14, the deceased Saint 14, who is still laid to rest in the infinite forest. Our future may depend on Saint. Again.
It's also worth noting that the Conductor has their own agenda. Maybe they're right, or maybe they're convincing Saint this is how it's supposed to be, how they want things to be. They want to create this perfect future, and in their eyes, the sundial incident should have never happened. Next week, we are likely heading back to the Infinite Forest to the original Saint to assist us in our journey. We need Vex data to allow us to build a portal straight to the Conductor instead of traveling continuously through the core of Nessus. Ikora thinks Saint's grave is the place to find it, so things are going to get crazy. This could reveal some big answers about both Saint and Osiris, who is real. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this one, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.